Thank you, Anna. Good morning, everybody.
Right.
You're probably hearing that and you see all these instruments in the back and you go like, so what do you do with those? I'm a professional musician also. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about, actually, before I do that, um, so this is going to be as interactive as possible because I don't want you to feel like you're a passive participant in this hour that we're going to be together. I want you to actually feel like you're being heard and seen. And so I'm going to do my very best to go through the three screens now, back and forth, and make sure that everybody knows that I'm speaking to the group. So I do have an agenda, but I don't have a specific agenda with regards to specific topics within fitness and age. This time together, because what could happen is that if I, which I could do and I've done in the past, I could throw a bunch of statistics to you and research, and you can find that online all day long, and I can drive you crazy and you'll go away. I was going to say you'll go home and you're probably home. You'll go away. You'll go away and then you'll go, I don't remember anything that she said. And I actually want you to remember at least one or two things that I say today. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if that makes sense. Sweet. Okay. So with that said, do keep yourselves muted. You can ask questions when I say, okay, I have a question for you. Please put your answers on the chat. Okay. I will try and see. I'm pretty sure a lot of the times the answers are going to be very similar. So I'll grab the majority and then I'll address the majority of the group. Um, and towards the end, I will open it up to raising your hand. So if you're familiar with Zoom, you can go to the reactions box, which is down at the bottom of your screen, and you can ask, to speak. If I don't call you because I have 20 people raising their hands, please do not take it personal. I'm going to try and balance it as much as I can. Yes? Okay, so a bit about me. So my name is Susanna Williams, and I was in fitness professionally full time for 25 years. And I've worked with all kinds of population, um, kids, youth, middle age, athletes, older population, all kinds of people. And one of the things that is the same across the board, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what your gender is that people find fitness very intimidating. Would you raise your hand if that's the case? You find fitness intimidating? Yes. Okay. So people find fitness intimidating because what we are taught in our society, what we are constantly bombarded with when it comes to fitness, is that fitness is only for the young, only for the pretty and the beautiful, and there's no room for anybody else. I think that that is so loud that it's very difficult not to feel as if there's no room for us in fitness. And even people who looked fantastic, they would look fantastic to anybody who would look at them. They would be insecure about being in a gym. They would be insecure about working out. So I started this journey in fitness when I was 18. I actually started as a musician at 13. And by the age of 18, um, I was never really fat, but I was not your stereotypical skinny person. So, um, being in the music industry, I got a lot of criticism for not being exactly how I was supposed to be, whatever that was, which I think hasn't really changed very much in our industry today. And so I developed an eating disorder at 18. And with developing an eating disorder, I also became obsessed with fitness, and it was detrimental to my health at the time. But as time went by, and I overcame my issues with anorexia, I I started to find very slowly the benefits of fitness. And so the benefits of fitness go beyond the body. The benefits of fitness are very much mental. Your relationship with your body is such an intimate relationship because only you can have that relationship with your body. Nobody can understand how you feel other than yourself. And as we get older, I feel, even for me and I'm middle age, even for me now when I go to the doctor, it's like, well, that's normal for your age. And I'm like, no, 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 wait a moment. Have you gotten that? Like, oh, that's normal for your age? Raise your hand if you feel like, doesn't that feel condescending to you? It's condescending, people. It is condescending because not everybody is the same. And because we are trying to communicate our personal needs, which are not necessarily related to age, and sometimes they're related to age in the term in the sense of the concept of age, but not age itself. Does that make sense? And so, one of the things that I want you to, the reason why I share this with you is because um, the looks don't really tell you what it's all about, and fitness is not about the looks. It shouldn't be the looks. The looks should be a byproduct. And also, fitness is not for the young. And actually, the older we get, the more we need fitness. And it doesn't have to look a certain way, and it doesn't have to be a certain way. And part of my intent behind working with you today is to hopefully have you give yourself permission to define fitness in a way that works for you and that is still beneficial. I'm going to say that again. I want you to define fitness for yourselves in a way that is beneficial to you personally. The moment we begin comparing ourselves to the next person, the moment we begin comparing ourselves to the person on TV, we lose. When we go to bed at night, even if we're sleeping with our partner, we're still alone. Yes? We have somebody there, thankfully, or not, good too. But even if you have someone next to you, children, grandchildren, your partner, whatever it is, we're still at the end of the day alone. So I would like to take this time to explore what are our biases with regards to fitness, what are we believing in that is not serving us, and how can we take a few steps towards a more positive approach to our personal health, our fitness, not only physical, but mental, spiritual, and social. Okay? So there are many ways in which fitness has been defined, and once again, I think it's one of those things that what serves you is what's going to work in the end. But fitness, to me, is the practice of something that allows for the quality of my life to be higher. Okay? Fitness is something that I practice that will allow my quality of life to be higher. Because I could be working out 7 days a week, high intensity training, and beat up my body and generate very high levels of cortisol. So the stress level is so high that my body is not really even recuperating. And I'm doing fitness, but I am not increasing the quality of my life. I'm decreasing the quality of my life. And so we shouldn't be sacrificing the quality of our lives because of a prescribed idea of what fitness should be. Is that clear? This is very important. This is very, very important. Because if you, for example, are at a time in your life where you haven't been working out a lot, we just came out of a pandemic, and maybe you were a little bit more sedentary than normal, and so your body's changed. My body's changed. So maybe you can do the things you could do before, but that doesn't mean that there are not things that you could do to still feel better. Yes? Okay. And so, based on that, the most important thing for all of us to do collectively is to raise our hands, raise our voices, and say, I have to do what works for me. And there's a difference between me saying, I actually can't do that, and me saying, I don't want to do that because I feel lazy. And sometimes we kind of think that they're the same thing, that when you say, I can't do that, you're feeling this kind of shame and discomfort because you feel like you should be able to do it. No, you shouldn't. If you can't, you can't. But maybe there's this that you could do, and that'll help you too. So if you're working with an injury, for example, um, I'm going to use myself as an example. I had a rotator cuff tear from, I did martial arts for a while, and this guy threw me on the ground, and my shoulder was no longer the same from that experience. And so I couldn't do what I normally did, which was lift quite heavy. And I was in major pain, and I was very depressed because I love moving. I am a very anxious person. I need to move. And so now I was thinking, well, what do I do? And as a fitness professional, I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch sports. And I got into cycling. And within a year, I was doing the Fondo, the Whistler Fondo. So I rode from Vancouver to Whistler twice in 11 days. One to train and the other one to, because I could use my legs. Does that make sense? So for those of you who are doing my class, for example, or for those of you who are doing any other class, if you are modifying your exercises, if you're doing just lower body because your upper body is affected, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the value of what you're doing. It actually gives value to what you're doing because you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're admitting that you're working around an injury, a discomfort, and you're still trying your very best to do what you can to continue to improve and maintain the quality of your life. Raise your hands if you think I'm somewhere telling you the truth. Yes, and you can relate. Yay. All right. So I'm going to ask a question. Raise your hand if you are physically active at the moment, and that means you garden, you walk. Raise your hand, or you go to a class. You go to my class. Let me see. I'm gonna switch. Keep your hands up, please. I'm gonna move pages and see if everybody. All right. Excellent. Okay, so most people are physically active. Excellent. Now, raise your hand if you tell yourself often, it's not enough. I should be doing more. Oh, that's a big number. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So go to your chat boxes and please type very quickly. Why do you think you're not doing enough? I won't give names, I promise. I will just take something general. Why do you think that you're not doing enough for your fitness? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. This is very good. Okay. Wonderful. So I'm going to start addressing some of these. Also, thank you so much, by the way, and thank you for being vulnerable and putting your answers out there, because I know this is a sensitive topic. So my goals are not being met. There's a few people saying I'm not meeting my goals, like I'm not losing the weight. Um, Probably you feel like you're not getting strong enough soon enough. Does that resonate with you guys? Yeah. And now I'm going to ask you, you don't have to type anything. What do you think would happen if you stopped completely doing what you've been doing? Right. I see your faces going, that wouldn't be a very good idea, would it? Some of you are saying my joints hurt. Um, too busy. Somebody said I'm lazy. I sit too much. Motivation. So a lot of laziness, more. You are never, ever going to be all the time motivated to exercise, myself included. I go to the gym 5 times a week, and sometimes I go, I don't want to do this, but I do know the benefits, I know after I'm going to feel better, so I do it. I'm also now, as I get older, I'm in my 40s, not able to do certain things that I used to do. Because, for the ladies, hormones are a very difficult thing to work with, right? So the motivation to do it goes back to what I said about fitness at the beginning. It's all about quality of life. Yes? Now, for those of you who said lazy or demotivated, only for those of you who said that, can you please type what's preventing you from actually doing it? Don't tell, yes, you might be saying I'm lazy or I just sit too much. Why are you sitting too much? Why are you sitting too much? Why do you think you're lazy? Okay, so for some of you, it's because it hurts to do certain things. There are injuries that are getting in the way. Okay, mental health. Yes. Anybody else? Is easier to sit in front of the TV than go for a walk? Yes, it is. And with Netflix and Prime and Crave and all these options to binge watch TV, absolutely. I hear you. I do it too. Um, so let's address this under one umbrella. Mental health. I'm going to dive right into that. Mental health. If you are demotivated or depressed, if you're feeling like you don't have the energy just because you really don't want to do it, there's no shame on that, by the way. There's no shame on that. People don't talk about it, but we all go through these periods, and it's tough. And it's tough getting older. And I want you to know that I acknowledge it because I'm also experiencing it as I'm getting older. It's tough to get older because things begin to change, and also because the human condition is very difficult. Right? And so if we're feeling depressed, or if we're feeling very anxious, or if we're feeling like what's the diff? There's nothing that's going to change if I do something, or I just don't want to do something. If that's you, and I think I'm actually speaking for like to everybody because we all go through this stuff. If that's you, if you feel like fitness is not something that you're implementing because you feel unwell, you feel down, you feel depressed, you feel anxious, you're not alone. And my hope for you is that you try and connect with people who can help you. And it can be a friend you can walk with. It can be a friend who's doing my class on Wednesdays. It could be a friend who's going to the community center. It could be your spouse who's doing something, and you could do something with your spouse. The moment you decide that you're going to do something, no matter how hard it is, get off the couch and go for a 15-20 minute walk. I can guarantee you, because my mental health would be an absolute mess if I didn't work out, if I didn't move. I can guarantee you that if you start doing it a couple of times a week, you're going to feel a huge difference. And you just need to believe it, because you're going to feel it very quickly. The return on investment when you move, when you stay mobile, is a lot higher than the time that you're putting into 2 hours a week or 15 minutes a day. And maybe your expectation is that, oh, but I should be doing an hour a day. Oh, maybe I should be doing 5-6 days a week. Maybe. And if that's the case, throw that out the window. Because if you're at 0, 3 times a week, 15 minutes, is going to be a huge difference compared to nothing. And this is where fitness cannot really be prescribed, because you have to find your way to do something. Does that make sense? If you are managing pain, that will also depress you. That will also get you demotivated to continue. So I would say, speak to a professional that can help you find alternatives. How can you find alternatives so that it doesn't hurt as much and so that it might improve? But not moving, I'm sure you've heard this before, being sedentary is worse than smoking. This is no joke. Okay? Being sedentary is worse than smoking. No joke. I come from a family where my parents and my aunts, they are old because they feel old. You see? If you feel old because of a number, then that's going to dictate how you're going to live your life. Oh, I can't do push-ups, so therefore I'm out of shape. Really? Oh, I can't run 5 miles, so I'm out of shape. Are you serious? Are you serious? Some of you are incredible. Who gardens? Who gardens? Okay, so oh my God, we just bought a house and I started gardening, and that is so hard. That is tough work. I've never sweated so much in my whole life for 6 hours. You're fit. You're fit. Count the things that you're doing as opposed to counting the things that you're not. Celebrate your small victories. They're not so small, by the way. And then use that as your base to build the next thing that you would like to do. Does that make sense? Excellent. So here's a few things I'm going to recap on that I would like for you to consider. If you are feeling like your mental health is getting in the way of you taking care of yourself, look at fitness as a way of taking care of yourself. Okay? Gentle. Then find some help. Okay? If you find that is your physical body having some issues with injuries, find ways to move in a way that is less painful or not painful at all. Modify your exercises. Talk to somebody who can help you modify your exercises. Reach out. And if you're just simply resigned because in your mind you're old, I disagree with you 100%. Like, I'm saying it to your face. Disagree. Because all of us feel like children inside, don't we? The body's just not keeping up with the stuff that's going on in the head. But we cannot dismiss the fact that we're all still very young at heart and that we want to keep that spirit. Keep that spirit. That is spiritual fitness. When you honor the fact that the changes in the body don't define who you are and what you're capable of. But the moment you allow for that to become that thing that tells you you can't because of a number, you lose. And by the way, when you lose, we as a society, we lose. Because we need our elders. We need you guys. I honestly say it for myself. I've always loved having people for friends that are older than me because they know more about life. Because they've walked a little longer than I have. So your value has to be defined by the fact that you have more experience, that you've had more courage because you've walked longer. But that doesn't mean that you're no longer valuable. You are, if anything, the most valuable. But you need to believe that. And so self-worth is very much attached to our ability to say, I am going to do Susanna's class on Wednesdays, and I am going to do the videos because it makes me feel good. Giving yourself that permission to say, yes, I am valuable, and my age doesn't define my value. Then you'll be able to get more engaged in your life. Are you with me? Yeah? And these things are kind of sometimes a little painful to hear, right? Because we've probably been dismissed by society. We've probably been dismissed by our doctors. By the way, if your doctor dismisses you, change it. Change it, change it, change it, change it. I've done it a couple of times. And I don't mean if you have a good doctor, awesome. And or challenge. Challenge. Ask questions. Doctors are professionals and some of them are fantastic. I have changed doctors a couple of times because I felt like it wasn't the right match. It's not that the person wasn't a good doctor, it's just that it's not the right match. Sometimes that happens. Who do you have as your team of, health professionals that are providing you with the information and the care that you need? Also, in your group of friends and family, sometimes when you start getting out of your comfort zone and you start doing things for yourself, people might feel threatened. People might not necessarily like the changes they see, the more independent you. Have you experienced that? When you decide to do something for yourself? No? Some of you know, some of you yes. Yeah. I've experienced it, right? Where I started making changes and people go, but that's not the person that I knew. Well, actually it is. It's just a 2.0 version of me. Okay? So let's go to a little bit to the prescription of fitness, okay? 3 times a week, ideal. That's the prescription. Half an hour, at least, per session. How hard should I work, Susanna? Well, depends on how you're feeling. right? So I can give you a little tool that I use and I used with my clients all the time, and I use with myself. From 1 to 10, when you're doing your session, your walk, how how hard are you feeling or perceiving you're working? 1 is watching TV. 10 is climbing the Grouse Grind in North Vancouver or running a marathon. Okay? That's the spectrum. If you are somewhere between 4, 5, and 6, that's really good. That's really good. That's more than most people do. Okay? So, what kind of exercises should I be doing, Susanna? So, cardiovascular exercises such as walking, stationary cycling or cycling. Um, what else can you do? Hiking. Even gardening can be quite, um, you know, quite great for your heart. And that helps with a few things. It helps with makes the heart more efficient in pumping blood, so you're getting more oxygen, so you're getting more nutrients that are feeding the body. Um, Strength for the ladies. For the ladies, can you please raise your hand if you think that strength is something that's just for the man, the gentleman? If you've believed that. No? Yay. Okay, awesome. Wonderful. I love it. And so, great. Why do we need strength training? Strength training will strengthen your bones, will strengthen your muscles. It'll also help you with balance. Okay? I lost my aunt last week at 82. She took a bad fall about a month and a half ago, and everything went downhill from there. But guess what? She never worked out. She never exercised. She was very sedentary. Same with my grandma at 63. Big fall. Never looked after herself, never walked, never did anything that would help her with her fitness. So if your bones start to get brittle, which they do with age, and we're not trying to slow down the process, then we are at risk of that. And we all know that a fall, when we're older, is not is a serious matter. Yes? Now, stretching, mobility. Why do we need that? So are you listening? We need cardio, we need strength, and we need mobility. And by mobility, it could be yoga, it could be just a regular stretch session. There's a lot of very good videos on YouTube. I can provide some to Anna that she can send to all of you that you could follow that are gentle. It doesn't have to be extreme. You don't have to have your leg over your head. That's not necessary. That's not even functional. All you need to do is be able to move with ease and less pain, because that's what flexibility and mobility will help you achieve. Right? And if you're doing strength training and if you're doing cardiovascular exercises, unfortunately, one of the downfalls is that if you don't stretch, your body gets really, really tight. And with that, the body gets very stressed. And on top of that, injuries are very likely because the joints start to get very stiff. Your range of motion starts to decrease. So those three elements are very much necessary. Very much necessary. So raise your hand if you're doing all three of them. Okay. Raise your hand if you're doing two of them. Yay. Raise your hand if you're doing just the one. Excellent. Don't stop, whatever you're doing. But as you're listening to me, if you are the one who's doing just the walking, awesome. Greatest exercise is gentle, is easy on the joints, and it allows you to clear your head. But if that's the only thing you're doing, consider adding 15 minutes of strength training during the week and 15 or 20 minutes um, of mobility or stretch. And for those of you who wrote, I don't have time, I always have a hard time with this one because then we have time to sit down and watch an entire movie or binge on Netflix. So I'm talking 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The moment you start feeling better, you will find the time to do more. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be extreme. I'm saying it again. It doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to be added to your routine to help you live a higher quality of life. Because I don't think anybody here can say, oh, quality of life is being achy and in pain all the time or not being able to balance myself when I'm trying to put my shoes on or getting out of bed. Like, that is not quality of life. And if that's what you're suffering with, I feel for you, and I also know that there are ways in which you can make it even a little bit better. It's better than nothing at all. Right? Now, if you know that you need accountability because doing it by yourself is not giving you the benefits that you could receive from fitness, then join a class. Seriously. Join a class, hire a trainer, do something with a friend so that you keep each other accountable. It really, really helps. Taking care of yourselves is your job. It's our jobs. So, cardiovascular fitness, strength fitness, so endurance, strength, being able to be stronger, and mobility. Those three. Just know those three. They're elements for a perfect recipe for a much healthier body. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you to go to your boxes again, to your chat boxes, and tell me how much you feel society is telling you that fitness is for a certain group, and you feel like for you, it's not being targeted to you. You don't feel supported. What is society telling you about fitness that is not helping you? Let's see. Okay, not at all. Not so much. We feel times have changed. I'm so happy to hear that. Everybody else? Supporting our community since the dawn of COVID. Perfect. Not during COVID, I found to face a specialized unit. Fitness. Perfect. That is for the young and beautiful. Yes. TV Vets and you have kickstarted us. Thank you very much for that. Ray, that's awesome. Okay, so some of you are saying, no, actually, I feel like things have changed. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Some of you still say it's for the young and the beautiful. I'm sad to hear that. But listen to your peers in this group. They're saying things have changed. Community centers are awesome. I work out at a community center. And I create my own little community of people that I say hi to, and I feel like I am a part of something. We're very lucky we have Discover TV Vets. Yay! I'm loving attending the classes with me. Thank you so much. Physiotherapists are helping, fitness coaches as well. Excellent. So you know there are resources, and you know there are resources for seniors to be more active. Please take advantage of those. Take advantage of those things. So I'm going to do a little bit of recap because I want for the next 15 minutes to have a little bit of a conversation and answer some questions. So let's go back to enough depends on you and where you are in your life. And as long as you're doing something, that's a great start. And that's the best thing you could do for your physical, mental, spiritual, and social fitness. Number 2, you are accountable for your fitness. You are accountable for how much you do or don't do. And in this society, I find we have a very hard time asking for help. I am going to ask you to please, please, please break that barrier and ask for help. It's hard. I know it's hard. I don't like asking for help. You see me like that? I'm super strong. You should see me crying. It's not pretty. And I do it because sometimes I have a hard time reaching out and asking for help. So please ask for help. Talk to your doctor. I know I said change your doctor. I was a little dramatic. What I was trying to say with that is take control of your health. It's yours. Have frank conversations with your doctors and don't be afraid to say, I don't want you to just throw this on the fact that I'm older. I'm a person, not a number, not an age. There's a child within me that wants to play and I want you to help me play. Okay? And number 3 or 4, I think I'm at right now. Please make sure that you're trying to maximize your fitness time by doing cardio, strength, and flexibility. And I'm going to go a little bit further and say 10 minutes of breathing exercises a day, where you sit with yourself and you just concentrate on your breathing and you train your nervous system to calm down. Allow for your body to reset. Quiet the mind, because the mind can be a trickster and tell you a bunch of stuff that is not necessarily true. You need to quiet that, and you need to center, and you need to find that which works for you so that your quality of life can be higher. So that the time we have left on this earth can be really good. And so when challenges come our way, we are in better shape physically and mentally and spiritually to tackle those issues and overcome them. And you are an asset to our society. We need your wisdom. We need your humor. We need your experience. We need to connect. I love seeing you guys on Wednesdays, those of you who come to my classes, because you inspire me to be better. You do for me more than I'm doing for you. So please keep that in mind. And no, I'm not getting paid by TV vets to say this. Right, Anna? I'm saying it out of like the goodness of my heart because it's true.